The beauty industry has built an empire on a single lie, that transformation requires transaction. That glowing skin, sharper contours, and that luminous just back from vacation radiance can only be yours if you're willing to swipe your card. But what if I told you that the most powerful tools for visible change cost absolutely nothing? That water temperature, sleep timing, and the direction you move your fingers across your face alter your skin's biochemistry as dramatically as any $200 serum. My name is Julian Thorne. I'm a sustainability consultant and fragrance curator who specializes in ethical, non-toxic beauty that delivers luxury results without the luxury price tag or the environmental wreckage. And today, we're dismantling the paywall between you and the glow you've been chasing.
You're listening to Luxury Beauty on a Budget podcast. Quick note before we dive in. Everything you're about to hear, the research, the data, the script itself, all of that comes from real human authors who've done the legwork and verified every claim. The voice you're hearing is AI generated, but the expertise behind it is very much human. If you've been listening for a while, thank you, seriously. Knowing you're out there makes this worth doing. And if you're new here, I'm glad you found us. We release new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you've got a steady stream of practical, no-nonsense beauty intel coming your way. Now, here's what we're getting into today. The idea that transformation requires transaction is a myth the beauty industry cultivates with precision. But how to glow up for free isn't a compromise. It's a return to foundational principles that predate marketing departments and influencer codes. Water temperature, sleep architecture, the direction you move your fingers across your face. These variables alter skin barrier function, lymphatic drainage, and cellular turnover with the same biochemical certainty as a $200 serum, just without the elegant packaging or the dopamine hit of checkout. The glow you're chasing isn't purchased, it's revealed. So let's start with what we actually mean when we talk about a free glow-up. A glow-up describes visible improvement across multiple aesthetic dimensions. We're talking skin clarity, facial contours, hair texture, overall radiance. And it's achieved through intentional behavioral modification rather than product acquisition. The free qualifier eliminates financial barriers by focusing exclusively on technique, routine optimization, and leveraging existing resources. This isn't deprivation aesthetics, it's precision. The concept gained real traction in skincare communities that were frustrated by the relentless product churn cycle, where each seasonal launch promises transformation while delivering marginal gains at premium prices. When you strip away formulation variables, what remains are the mechanical, environmental, and physiological factors that actually govern how skin behaves. Hydration status, microcirculation, desquamation rates, sebum oxidation, inflammation markers. A free glow-up interrogates these mechanisms directly. You're not bypassing active ingredients, you're maximizing the efficacy of whatever you already own through strategic application timing, enhanced penetration techniques, and elimination of counterproductive habits. The skin cycling methodology structures active ingredient use to prevent barrier disruption while maintaining continuous improvement. The fundamentals of skin cycling separate random product application from a coherent treatment strategy. You'll find the transformation isn't about adding more, it's about doing less, better, with exacting intentionality. Now let's talk about how this actually works. The mechanisms behind how to glow up for free operate at the intersection of circadian biology, mechanical physics, and cosmetic chemistry. Understanding these pathways transforms vague self-care into measurable intervention. First up, lymphatic drainage and facial contouring. Your lymphatic system lacks a central pump. Unlike blood circulation, which relies on cardiac pressure, lymph movement depends on muscular contraction and manual manipulation. Facial tissue accumulates interstitial fluid overnight due to horizontal positioning and reduced muscle activity during sleep. This manifests as puffiness, particularly around orbital and perioral regions. That's your eye area and around your mouth. Manual lymphatic drainage uses specific directional pressure, always toward lymph nodes, never circular scrubbing, to accelerate fluid clearance. The technique increases microcirculation by approximately 25 to 30%, according to studies on post-surgical edema reduction, though the effect is temporary, lasting 4 to 8 hours. But temporary, repeated daily, becomes cumulative visual change. The precise techniques for facial massage at home require no tools, just understanding of anatomical drainage pathways. Pressure applied along the mandible from chin to ear, then down the neck toward the clavicle, follows natural lymph flow patterns. 3 minutes each morning produces measurable depuffing. You'll see sharper jawline definition and reduced under-eye bags within the first week. Next, temperature modulation and vasoconstriction. Cryotherapy, that's cold application to skin, triggers immediate vasoconstriction followed by reactive vasodilation. The initial blood vessel tightening reduces inflammation and edema. Upon rewarming, increased blood flow delivers oxygen and nutrients to the tissue while accelerating metabolic waste removal. Ice cubes wrapped in thin cloth, refrigerated spoons, or even cold running water provide sufficient temperature differential. We're talking 15 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit below skin temperature. The physiological effects of ice rolling demonstrate how controlled cold exposure affects microcirculation without requiring specialized equipment. Application duration matters. 30 to 60 seconds per facial zone prevents tissue damage while maximizing the vascular response. Move constantly. Static ice contact longer than 5 seconds risks cryoburn, which ironically triggers inflammation you're trying to eliminate. Moving on to barrier optimization and transepidermal water loss. Your stratum corneum functions as both protective barrier and rate-limiting membrane for ingredient penetration. Transepidermal water loss, TEWL for short, measures barrier integrity. Higher rates indicate compromised function, leading to dehydration, sensitivity, and accelerated aging. Here are the free interventions that reduce TEWL. Humidity management. Showering in excessively hot water, above 105 degrees Fahrenheit, strips lipid content from the stratum corneum, elevating TEWL by 15 to 40% for up to 3 hours post-wash. Lukewarm water, 95 to 100 degrees, cleanses without disruption. Application sequencing. Damp skin absorbs humectants like hyaluronic acid more efficiently than dry skin. Patting products onto slightly wet skin, not dripping, just undried, increases penetration depth and hydration retention. This costs nothing but changes timing.
Occlusion timing. If you already own any occlusive moisturizer, applying it within 3 minutes of cleansing, the moisture sandwich technique, locks in residual water before it evaporates. Waiting 10 minutes reduces efficacy by roughly 30%. The barrier-first beauty approach prioritizes these structural considerations over active ingredient potency, recognizing that compromised barriers can't benefit from sophisticated actives anyway. Now, sweep architecture and cellular repair. Growth hormone secretion peaks during deep sleep phases, stages 3 and 4 NREM. This anabolic hormone drives collagen synthesis, cellular repair, and mitochondrial function. Fragmented sleep, even if total hours seem adequate, disrupts these cycles, reducing growth hormone output by up to 60%. Here are the free optimization strategies. Sleep pressure building. Caffeine half-life is 5 to 6 hours. A 3 p.m. coffee still has 25% active caffeine at 9 p.m., fragmenting sleep architecture even if you fall asleep normally. Cutting off caffeine by noon deepens sleep phases without costing anything. Temperature regulation. Core body temperature must drop 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate sleep. A hot room prevents this. Opening a window or using existing fans costs nothing, but dramatically improves sleep quality and thus skin repair processes. Light exposure timing. Morning sunlight, even through a window, advances circadian phase, making evening drowsiness occur earlier and more predictably. 10 minutes facing east within an hour of waking stabilizes your rhythm. The sun is free. The dermatological research on sleep deprivation and skin aging demonstrates measurable increases in fine lines, uneven pigmentation, and barrier disruption after just 72 hours of poor sleep. Conversely, optimized sleep architecture visibly improves skin texture within 2 weeks. Let's talk about mechanical exfoliation and cellular turnover. Desquamation, that's the natural shedding of dead corneocytes, slows with age, declining from a 14-day cycle in adolescence to 28+ days in your 40s. Accumulated dead cells create dullness, rough texture, and impaired product penetration. Physical exfoliation doesn't require purchased scrubs. A clean, damp washcloth provides sufficient friction to accelerate desquamation without the micro-tears caused by harsh granules like walnut shell fragments. The key is pressure calibration, light, sweeping motions, never aggressive scrubbing. Frequency depends on skin type. Oily, resilient skin tolerates daily gentle exfoliation. Dry or sensitive skin benefits from 2 to 3 times weekly maximum. Overexfoliation triggers inflammation and barrier damage, the opposite of a glow-up.
For chemical exfoliation, if you already own any AHA or BHA product, the skin cycling framework structures usage to maximize turnover benefits while preventing irritation through strategic rest nights. So why does all this matter? The financial barrier to beauty operates as both practical obstacle and psychological deterrent. When transformation appears to require hundreds of dollars in products, many people defer action indefinitely, waiting for the right time or enough money. This delay calcifies the belief that improvement is inherently inaccessible. Understanding how to glow up for free dismantles that framework. You regain agency. The variables that most dramatically impact appearance, hydration status, sleep quality, lymphatic function, respond to behavioral change, not budget size. A $300 eye cream can't override chronic dehydration or poor sleep, but adequate water intake and optimized sleep architecture produce measurable improvements in periorbital darkness and fine lines within 2 weeks. This creates a hierarchy of efficacy. Master the free fundamentals first. Only then do purchased products deliver their marketed benefits. A retinol serum applied to chronically dehydrated skin with compromised barrier function will irritate without improving. The same serum on optimally hydrated, barrier-intact skin transforms texture within 4 to 6 weeks. The free techniques also provide immediate feedback loops. Facial massage produces visible depuffing within minutes. Cold water reduces redness instantly. Proper sleep shows improvement after a single night. These rapid responses build momentum and adherence. You see proof that your actions matter, which sustains motivation far better than waiting 8 weeks to maybe see results from a new serum. Additionally, the 30-day glow-up checklist structures these interventions into a progressive system, preventing overwhelm while ensuring you address all major variables systematically. Now let's break down the types of zero-cost beauty interventions. Free glow-up strategies cluster into distinct categories based on their mechanism of action and target concern. Understanding these classifications helps you construct a personalized protocol. First, technique-based interventions. These require physical manipulation or specific methodology. Facial massage for lymphatic drainage, ice application for vasoconstriction, facial exercises, though evidence for efficacy remains mixed. Sleep position optimization, back sleeping reduces sleep lines and facial asymmetry. Proper cleansing technique, upward motions, adequate rinse time, appropriate water temperature. The precision matters more than duration. 2 minutes of correctly executed massage outperforms 10 minutes of random face rubbing. Next, ingredient repurposing. Your pantry likely contains compounds with legitimate cosmetic activity, though marketing has trained you to seek them in bottles instead. Honey, raw, not heat processed, contains hydrogen peroxide releasing enzymes with antibacterial properties. Similar mechanism to benzoyl peroxide but gentler. Oatmeal, colloidal, meaning finely ground, has anti-inflammatory effects documented in dermatological research on atopic dermatitis. The evidence base separates genuine efficacy from viral trends, kitchen ingredients that actually work for DIY face masks versus those that deliver nothing beyond placebo or worse, trigger irritation. Caution: pH matters. Lemon juice, pH 2 to 3, is too acidic for direct facial application despite internet claims. Baking soda, pH 9, is too alkaline. Skin functions optimally at pH 4.5 to 5.5. Deviations disrupt barrier function and microbiome balance. Then we have routine architecture optimization. This category addresses when and how you use existing products, not which products to buy. Application order, thinnest to thickest consistency. Timing relative to cleansing, damp versus dry skin. Frequency modulation, daily versus cycling. Layering pauses, waiting 30 seconds between products improves penetration. And elimination of counterproductive habits, aggressive towel drying, hot water, over-cleansing. The skin cycling methodology exemplifies this approach, structuring product use to maximize active ingredient efficacy while minimizing irritation through strategic rest nights. Technology leverage. Several legitimate platforms offer free skin analysis, virtual try-on, and personalized recommendations using AI-driven image analysis. While these can't replace dermatological diagnosis, they identify concerns you might overlook: early sun damage, texture irregularities, hydration deficits, and they track improvement over time. The best free beauty apps provide substantive analysis rather than just functioning as marketing funnels for product sales. And finally, sample acquisition strategy. If strategically pursued, free samples allow you to test full-size products without purchase. This isn't about hoarding travel sizes, it's about intelligent product vetting before committing to full-size purchases you might regret. Certain brands offer genuine full-size trial programs worth requesting, particularly for expensive products where a wrong choice represents significant financial waste. The key is selectivity. Only request products that align with your actual needs and formulation preferences. All right, let's get into strategic implementation. Random application of free techniques yields random results. Structured implementation produces consistent transformation. Weeks 1 and 2, foundation phase. Focus exclusively on barrier optimization and sleep quality. These create the physiological foundation for everything else.
Reduce shower temperature to lukewarm. Apply all products to damp skin. Eliminate caffeine after noon. Aim for 7.5 to 9 hours sleep. Complete sleep cycles run 90 minutes. Partial cycles feel worse than shorter duration with complete cycles. Morning sunlight exposure within 1 hour of waking. The goal isn't perfection. It's establishing new defaults. Miss a day, resume the next. Consistency across weeks matters more than daily perfection. Weeks 3 and 4, mechanical interventions. Add facial massage and cold therapy once barrier function stabilizes. You'll notice less tightness after cleansing, faster product absorption, reduced sensitivity. 3-minute lymphatic drainage massage each morning following anatomical pathways. 60-second cold application, ice wrapped in cloth or cold spoons to orbital area and any inflammation. Gentle physical exfoliation 2 to 3 times weekly with damp washcloth. The overnight skin clearing techniques provide targeted intervention for active breakouts without disrupting the broader protocol. Week 5 and beyond, optimization and personalization. By week 5, you've isolated which interventions produce the most dramatic results for your specific physiology. Some people respond intensely to lymphatic drainage, seeing immediate contour improvement. Others notice bigger changes from sleep optimization or temperature modulation. Double down on your highest yield techniques, maintain the others at baseline frequency. This isn't about doing everything forever, it's about discovering your leverage points. The comprehensive 30-day checklist tracks these phases systematically, preventing decision fatigue while ensuring progressive implementation. Now let's tackle some frequently asked questions. Can you actually glow up without spending money on products? Yes, because the majority of visible skin improvement derives from barrier function optimization, hydration status, microcirculation, and cellular turnover, all of which respond to behavioral and technique modifications rather than product acquisition. Studies on transepidermal water loss demonstrate that application method, damp skin, immediate occlusion, affects hydration retention more significantly than ingredient choice in many cases. However, if you already own effective products, the free techniques amplify their performance rather than replacing them entirely.
How long does it take to see results from free glow-up methods? Lymphatic drainage and cold therapy produce visible depuffing within 5 to 10 minutes, though the effect is temporary until repeated daily. Sleep optimization shows measurable improvement in skin radiance and texture within 7 to 10 days as growth hormone cycles normalize. Barrier repair typically requires 14 to 21 days of consistent, gentle treatment before you notice sustained hydration and reduced sensitivity. Cumulative changes in facial contours and overall glow become apparent around week 4 to 6 when multiple interventions compound. What's the most effective free technique for glowing skin? Sleep architecture optimization delivers the highest return across the broadest range of skin concerns. It simultaneously improves cellular repair, reduces inflammation, balances cortisol, which affects oil production and collagen degradation, and enhances skin barrier function. The effect size often exceeds that of individual topical products. However, if barrier function is already severely compromised, prioritizing gentle cleansing and moisture sealing technique may produce more immediate visible improvement since damaged barriers can't benefit from other interventions effectively. Are DIY face masks actually effective or just messy placebo? Efficacy depends entirely on ingredient selection and formulation pH. Raw honey and colloidal oatmeal have documented anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties supported by dermatological research, making them genuinely functional. Conversely, ingredients like lemon juice, baking soda, and cinnamon can disrupt skin pH and trigger irritation despite viral popularity. The comparison of DIY versus store-bought face masks identifies which kitchen ingredients deliver measurable results versus those that provide only sensory experience without therapeutic benefit. Can free beauty apps really analyze skin accurately without seeing a dermatologist? AI-powered skin analysis apps use image recognition algorithms trained on thousands of dermatological photos to identify texture irregularities, pigmentation patterns, hydration deficits, and some inflammation markers with reasonable accuracy for mild to moderate concerns. They excel at tracking changes over time and catching early issues you might overlook. However, they cannot diagnose medical conditions like rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis, or skin cancers. Anything persistent, painful, or rapidly changing requires professional evaluation. Think of them as sophisticated mirrors that enhance your own observation, not as diagnostic tools.
Let me wrap this up. The transformation you're seeking doesn't require permission from your bank account. How to Glow Up for Free operates through behavioral precision, optimizing water temperature, sleep architecture, manual lymphatic drainage, barrier protection timing, ingredient application sequencing. These interventions alter the same physiological variables that expensive products target: transepidermal water loss, microcirculation, cellular turnover, inflammation markers, collagen synthesis. Your existing resources become exponentially more effective when used with intentional technique. A basic moisturizer applied to damp skin within 3 minutes of cleansing outperforms a luxury cream patted onto dry skin 10 minutes later. Sleep optimization amplifies growth hormone secretion more dramatically than most peptide serums. The glow was always accessible. You just needed the framework to reveal it. That wraps up this episode of Luxury Beauty on a Budget podcast. Thanks for spending this time with me today. We've got new episodes dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so there's always something fresh waiting for you. If you found this valuable, I'd be really grateful if you could leave a 5-star rating and write a quick review. It sounds like a small thing, but it genuinely makes a huge difference. It's how other people who need this kind of information actually find the show. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe or follow so you get notified the second a new episode goes live. Talk soon!